Hi, thank you so much for coming to the Stepping Michael Software Company YouTube channel. So we have some improvements that we've made in Univah Pro recently, which are mostly performance based, and I wanted to share that with you, especially in this scene here. So if you watched our other video where we showcased this something similar to this scene, I just basically did it again from scratch and this is, a very beautiful scene. And but if you notice in the first video, we had sort of a performance issue with our lights. I've been working on that, and I wanted to share with you how we fixed it. So if you remember in the other video with the rocks, we had a directional light, like you see here, and we had also we had two people in the scene. So I've pretty much created almost the exact same scene. And these are, of course, high quality 4K assets. And you can see the textures here are 4K. Okay, so that's the resolution of each texture. So this scene is handling quite a lot. And as you can see, the performance is still very good. Now let's take a look at our directional light. So here are the main improvements we've made in Univah Pro. Firstly, with the directional light selected, let's go here. You're going to notice that we've made some changes, some improvements in terms of the shadow resolution. So I don't know if you know this, but previously we had the shadow resolution here, and this one controlled all the lights and all the shadows. So this was in charge of changing the resolution for all shadows, for all lights. So if you had 100 different lights, spotlights, point lights, area lights, mesh lights, uh, this would have controlled all of those resolutions. Now we have separated them to give you finer control, which is extremely important for performance because what we realized is that the directional light requires a bit more of the higher quality settings. So of course, we can decrease the quality and you can take a look at the shadows, what happens. For most computers, because Univah Pro is optimized to work on an NVIDIA GTX 1050, this resolution will work on a 1050. Alrighty, guys. So let's go ahead and build this scene from scratch. The rock scene that everyone loves. It's a great scene, and I'm going to show you how we did it, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and create a directional light. And let's import our first model. Go to Downloads, import this one. Of course, we can also not shift, we can hold down the Control button, and then we can import multiple objects at the same time. Okay, but we're just going to do it one by one, okay? Alrighty, so we've got our rocks. Here's the first one. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to position it a little bit flush with the floor. Okay, good. Next thing we're going to do, I'm going to import the man. Let's import the man on a bicycle. Okay. And let's just do this one. Alrighty, and we're just going to rename him man, bike. Alrighty, there he is. Maybe just position him like that. That works for me. Alright. Let's see. I think I'm going to change the texture. Let's change the texture to maybe this one. Okay, great. I like this one. This is 4K. Oh, it's 8K. These are 8K textures. That's great. All right, so we've got the beginning of our scene here. I'm not going to worry so much about the roughness maps. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. And we'll make it pretty later. Okay, so let's import. What I like to do for this scene is I'm going to actually make a copy of this one. So let's click on this. And right click in the viewport, hit the Control F to make a duplicate. So now we have a copy. And I'm going to put this one in the back. Okay, and we're going to scale it up a little bit. Something like that. Okay, we're just going to, and we're going to push it. We're going to push it. Okay, so something along those lines. Let's see. Make it a little bit flush. We'll fine tune it later. Okay, so we've got that going on. And let's import something else. Okay, before we do, I think it's a good time to switch to PBR. So let's switch styles. Let's go to PBR. Okay, in PBR mode, as you can see, this environment does not match what we're trying to do here. So the first thing we're going to do is, now that we're in PBR, let's go to the PBR settings, and let's delete this environment map. And let's also change the roughness. Right now, everything is very shiny, so let's fix that. So by default, the roughness starts on 0.5, and it goes all the way up to 1, okay? Roughness, typically this is good for things like if you're making Toy Story, plastics, so you would do that. But if you're like a bouncing ball or something like that, you would want that roughness pretty high, like a basketball or skin, human skin. Typically, you want your roughness to be anywhere from 80 and above, 0.8 and above. And then for toys or anything plastic, you want to keep that roughness low, okay? So since we're working with rocks, we're going to increase that roughness to about 8, okay? And then we're going to just fine tune that depending on how things look. Okay, so let's upload a new environment map. And I think we're just going to go for something, I don't know. Let's just pick one. Okay, so here we are. We have something like that. And that looks okay. Let's take a look at the roughness now. So now we can really see if we want to change that roughness a bit. Alrighty. Okay. So things are a little dark, and that's because of this right here, IBL intensity. By default, we have ours set to very low. You want to push this up to almost 1. Typically, that's good. So almost 1 is what you want. So now we have our scene looking really nice. So depending on what you're lighting, you want to play with these settings. 1 is realistic, but you can go above 1 if you're going for something more stylized or just want something brighter. Okay, so I typically keep it at about 90. Okay, just depends on what look you're going for. Okay, good. So that's looking pretty good. I might have to make this roughness a bit rougher just to get, you don't want any roughness on these rocks at all. Okay. All right. So, okay, good. Now, the bicycle, we're going to change the textures because some of this should be metallic. And so, yeah, we're going to make things pretty in a moment. Let's just get everything in here. Okay, so for the plane, I think we're just going to, let's see, let's upload a PBR section for this plane. We're going to go with the ground tracks. Let's just add this in here. Okay, so that's something. And let's add in normal. Okay, so we've got some fake bumpiness going on there. All right. I think I'm going to change this direction. Let's make the UV type to plane. Okay, good. And then we're going to change the degrees to maybe 90. Okay, so now it's this way. And let's see, we can tile it however we want. Up to you how you want to tile it. Okay. And then, of course, you have offset. You can offset. Make it look a little rough. Okay, so it's coming together. Things are coming together. So you see how very quickly we're creating something that honestly in other softwares, you know, you would be struggling for a while. You're not getting this quality in softwares like Maya. It's just not going to happen. You would have to go to the Arnold render and wait. You would have to click render and wait. But in Univah Pro, this is real time. Okay, so that's just incredible. Okay, so let's add more stuff. Um, let's import. So we have that. Let's bring this one in. Okay, so I think that's in here. Okay, great. So we can really start building something really interesting here. I like this. This looks nice. Looks really nice. Okay, so we can really create a nice rocky environment. I'm gonna hit Control F to make a duplicate of that, and I'm gonna click on that copy, and let's just rotate it like so. And I'm gonna push it to be flush with the ground. Oh, whoopsie, whoops. Okay, okay. Something like that. Okay, let's boost this up. Okay. And again, it just depends on what you're going for. We're just going to do this quickly. This looks very nice. And okay, so let's add. I might hide that for now, even though I like the way it looks. This looks cool. I'll hide it for now. I don't want to overdo it. This looks really nice. Okay, let's bring more stuff. Okay, so that was this one, and now let's do the boulder. Okay, it's in here, so let's drag it. This one is interesting. I like this very much. What we're going to do is we're going to make it a little offset with that. Uh, art direction is key here. So let's see. I'm going to boost this up, and let's push it down a bit. Okay, so, all right, let's bring in our guy. We're going to bring in our guy. Man sitting. Black man sitting. That's very specific, so I remember what these are. And we're just going to call him man on phone. Okay. Alrighty, so we're going to rotate this guy. We're going to bring him here. We're going to make sure he has a seat. And let me just decrease my camera speed because I'm going a bit too fast. Sorry about that, guys. I am a little bit too used to working in Univah. Okay, so we're going to just put that right there. Oh, yes, push it. Okay. Alrighty. So we've got him sitting down. Uh, do we like this texture on this man? Okay, first things first, let's work on these glasses. So, uh, If you see it from the front, but you don't see it from the back, that's because of culling. So we can go to the attribute editor, go to object manager, go to the culling, and just click disabled. Now you will see it from the back and from the front. Okay, so that's how you fix that if you want that. Okay, let's go ahead now with this selected. Let's just call it lens. And let's add a texture. Accessories, color. Okay, roughness, roughness, roughness. Where's the roughness? Oh, roughness map. Where are you? Okay, roughness. Okay, great. Now we've got some reflections. Fantastic. And this is looking a little dull, so we'll do the same thing for this. We're going to call it frame. And it already has a color, so let's give it a roughness. Roughness is here. Okay, so it's got some shininess there, so that's something. And this color t-shirt, let's see. Maybe we'll give them different color. Not sure which one you guys like, but you can. Alrighty. So we have a blue shirt. We have this one, and we have this one. Let's go. Uh, let's go with this one. I think it fits the environment a bit more. Okay. Now we can get really fancy with this. You can add textures to the phone. It's really up to you. But for now, I'm just going to add a basic roughness map. Roughness map for the phone should be here. Yes. Okay. So now we have some reflections. Okay. That's all we need for now. Let's play with the directional light. All right. Keep it at the default setting. Okay, so there's a lot we can do with this. Just depends on what you want. I believe this was at 9 and this was at 69. Okay, so that's good. Just gonna bring this here for some drama. Just add some drama. Okay. All right, let's bring in more stuff. Okay, so we have that wet floor. Okay, so I'm gonna hit control and I'm gonna bring all of these in at the same time. Okay, so those items have been imported. Let's bring them in here. Let's go to the outliner. Wet floor sign. All right. I think we're going to bring this and just leave it here. Something like that. I think this man should be maybe here. Yeah, maybe here. Okay, great. For the wet floor sign, it has a roughness map. We can put that roughness map in here. I just don't want to. But it does come with a roughness map. Okay. Lemon. I like this lemon, so let's bring this lemon in here. I like it when we have little things that just kind of are just there. So let's increase the quality of our shadows so we can see more definition in shadows. Okay, so that's looking good. That's looking nice. If you want, we can drag that up a bit more. It's looking good. Okay, so I think I'm going to keep it at that. Uh, this lemon is just there, and it has a purpose. This lemon has a family. All right. Okay. So we have this table. And we can just position it somewhere, wherever you want. Uh, okay. Looking good, looking good. And let's bring something else in that I really like to do. Keep going. All right. And we're going to just import this tree trunk in here. And let's see how this looks. Oh, that's nice. That's looking good. Okay. Just for fun, let's switch to sketch. And let's see what we've got. This is looking good. That's looking great. Nice. Very nice. And we can switch to outline. Let's see. Oh, that's nice. Very, very nice. Okay. So this tree trunk, maybe we'll just put it somewhere. It's mainly just here to disrupt the scene, to add some drama to the scene. Let's go back to PBR. Um, oh, okay. Let me make a copy of it. I'm gonna take this copy and let's see what we can do with this thing. How dramatic can we get? How much drama can we bring into this? I love juxtaposition in art. Remember when we were in high school in art class, they taught us about juxtaposition? Putting things where they don't belong, combining two unlike things. It's very beautiful in art. So don't be afraid to, put things in places where they don't quite belong. That's what art is about. Now, that's just there. Alrighty. And it looks nice. You can grow some grass along this. That's really nice. Okay. So let me show you how powerful religion is. So now that we have something like this, right? Okay, let me add a cube. So imagine that this cube is something like a leaf or a grass, right? You can now distribute this all over this tree and make it seem like grass is growing on the tree using religion. So you go to religion. All right. So this is the main one that we want. So we're going to select this one, okay? So click on the cube. Very important that you select the child that you want to distribute onto, okay? Otherwise, it may not work. So click mesh, click on the child. There we go. So now it is all over this object. That's because there are 100 points. So let's click back on the cube. Let's go here to grid, and let's make sure that we're not accidentally distributing these tree trunks everywhere. So that's an interesting effect, but that's not what we want. We don't want the tree trunk itself to be distributed everywhere, and that's currently what's happening right now. So right now, uh, we can create as many of these as we want. That's not what we want. So let's go ahead and remove that component. So just click Remove Components with this selected so that this will not accidentally distribute. Okay, so we have removed that component. Great. Now let's go back to our cube because that's really the main star here. So I want you to imagine that this is like, you know, a leaf or something, or some grass, and you wanted to grow some grass along this tree trunk. This is how you would do it. Okay, so let's go back to object distribution because we have our cube and it's connected to this tree trunk. Great. Uh, let's decrease the number of cubes to 1 so you can see what's going on. All right, and as we add more points, now we have 2 cubes, we have 3, so you can see how that's changing. And of course, we can change that. We can go to the parameters, and we can make this smaller. So we can have a lot of these points. So this is how you would grow some trees or some, you can grow some leaves on these procedurally. Because now you can control it with a fall off. You can set add behavior, add fall off, and then you can control how this grows in real time. Okay, so that's really cool. Okay, so you'll be able to control that. All right, so that's religion. You already know how religion works by now. Let's see. Right? Nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove that component. Let's go to religion, and I'm just going to remove that component. No, we don't want grid. Let's just remove it. All right. And I'm going to hide that cube because we don't really need it. And we're done with religion for now. Let's go back to our original scene. All right. I think I'm going to add a car, maybe something like a van right there. Let's just bring this van in here just for fun. Okay, so we have this van, and maybe we should turn it around. Let's go back to photorealism. Okay. And just like that, we've got our scene. Got a nice, interesting scene here. And oh, you know what? This bicycle. I did promise to add something. Let's see, man on bike. The man, that's the phone, and that's the bike. Okay, let's change the textures. Well, not change, but let's add the roughness to the bike. Okay, roughness to the bicycle, roughness. Okay, good. So now this bicycle has some nice roughness. And we've got some nice color changes here, which I really enjoy. I love to break up the colors. add some things where they don't belong. It's really good in art. It just looks really beautiful. And there we go. So as you can see, I just recreated this entire scene in front of you. No tricks. This is 100% real time, and it looks just as good as the first one. And I did it completely in front of you. So, to those of you who really like that scene, the rock scene, I just wanted to show you how you could do that yourself. And we'll show you more, videos in the future. I think also what I did was, like I was telling you in the beginning of this video, we've improved the performance drastically. So now you have all these objects and, nothing is slowing down. So let's add also I believe in the original video, I had a point light. Yes, I had a point light, I had a directional light, and I was playing around with the directional light in front of you so you could see that this was not some vague scene. This was 100% real time. Alrighty. Oh, that's nice. Okay, that is something else. Okay, so I'm going to turn this off and let's focus on our point light somewhere here. Okay, there it is. Yeah, so in the original video, I believe I had this point light. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we have this awesome point light here, and it's doing a great job. And I can add another point light. Let's add another one. And we'll have this point light kind of illuminating this guy. Oh, that's something. That is nice. Okay, so let's focus on this point light. Let's go to the attribute light parameters. We can turn that off, on. Okay, great. You can, of course, change the color of the light if you want. If you're going for a nighttime scene, something in the evening, maybe you could do that. Let's just change it back. Okay. And so this is what I was talking about before when I said we've improved performance drastically. So this shadow settings controls the point light shadows and resolutions, spotlights, area lights. So remember, this here is for spotlights, point lights, and area lights. Okay? And what's really cool about this is that typically point lights are very expensive to render. They're more expensive to render than directional lights. And area lights are also very expensive to render, more so than directional lights. So it's important to have the ability to change that resolution. So as you can see, the shadows look good even at a low resolution. Look at those shadows. They look nice. So you don't really have to push it all the way up to 4K. We have this in red because some graphics cards, if you're using like a GTX 1050, you might not be able to render 4K shadows on that graphics card. So that's why we have it in red. Red means danger in Univah Pro. So anytime you see something in red or orange, it means, hey, be careful. Make sure your graphics card can handle this resolution. So we know that for most graphics cards, like the 1050 GTX, which Univah is optimized for, we know that it can handle this, okay? And luckily, you're not even going to need it because even at this quality, the shadows are amazing. So it looks really good even at lower resolutions. If you go even to the lowest, it's going to look pretty nice. Okay, so typically you want to leave it there though. The lowest is okay, but this is good. Okay, so that's a huge improvement that we made recently. and I wanted to show that to you. Okay. So like I said, point lights, spotlights. If I add a spotlight, okay. And let's rotate it down, push it up. Okay. So spotlights, same deal, same story. Turn it off and on, tone size, okay, and softness, okay. So that's the story there. Okay. I hope this has been helpful. We just, wanted to show you how this was done. I know that a lot of you really like this video. So here is the process for how to do it. Okay. And Univah is very focused on the creator. It's a very creator-first, artist-friendly type of software. So what typically would take you a very long time to achieve in other softwares, in Univah Pro, it's very fast, very straightforward, and it just works the way you would expect it to. Okay. You don't believe that you need a PhD just to light a scene. You shouldn't have to. It shouldn't be that hard. So, and that's really that's where Univah wins. We don't make things so difficult that you have to watch 700 tutorials just to light your scene. We don't believe in that. So anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good day.